Oh my god, you fucking baddie.
Your mic is hot, just so you know.
Dude, Ryan O'Reilly sucks.
Oh my god.
Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast.
Oh my god.
Presented by AJ's Spicy Takes.
Oh my god.
I'm your host, Rudolph, joined by Blais Hunter and AJ Haefele, Ali Monroy, doing all the production in the back. The Avs win 3-2 again over the LA Kings. In a hockey game that was, I mean, the first period was cool. The rest of this game was not as interesting. I don't know.
Yes. Well said. Pure poetry, Rudo.
Yeah, I don't feel the best if you can't tell. But best pairing in the NHL? Question mark.
Tonight for sure. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah.
All three Avs goals coming from Toews or Makar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
there's
how good is Makar?
dude, he's too good.
Special.
It's
He is
like,
special.
I don't think anyone believes he'll win the Norris this year, but like he could.
Yeah, I mean he's 4 points. He's 4 points back now of Adam Fox for defenseman scoring. The handful of guys in between them. I have no idea if any of those other guys scored tonight. Any of the guys that are in between, I have no idea. But for only 4 points separate those dudes. The underlying numbers are all pretty good for all the guys who are involved. I think he'll get votes. I think he'll get consideration. I think it would boost his stock quite a bit if he does catch Fox and he does pass him up.
Yeah.
Say he drops 50 points and he only plays 45 games or however many he's set to play, 44 games, I think. Then I think that will put him in the conversation. I can tell you the voting block got an email yesterday saying start preparing your ballots now.
Yeah. So
it may not matter. The people who are voting they're supposed to be putting their ballots together because they're submitting their ballots here in a week. And so a lot of them have been told, hey, heads up, get this together as quickly as you can and be ready for it. So if people are doing it right now, then I think he's going to have a hard time. If people actually wait till the end, until players are done playing in the regular season, I think he's got a chance. I think he'll 100% get votes anyway. Like even this very moment, he'll get top 3 votes. I just don't know that he'll get enough to win.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get enough to win either, even if he deserves it, arguably. But the other side of this coin is, I think it's been a little better the past couple games, but Devon Toews is back, baby.
Yeah, looks way better on both ends.
Yep.
You could tell even before the goals started happening that their first shift of the game, he rolls out there and he pinches in twice to keep the play alive, and you're like, oh, he's okay.
Yep.
This dude's locked in right now. This is a lot more of what we're accustomed to seeing from him. So, got to feel good about that.
You got to.
Yeah.
The Avs have just handled the Kings 2 games in a row. Yeah, sure, it got a little bit close in the third period, but they gave up 17 shots the other night, and they gave up 18 shots tonight in a 60-minute game.
Well, in their last 2 games, the last 2 games in Denver, they absolutely housed the Kings in both of those games. I mean, they outshot them by like 20-30 in both of those games.
Yep.
So the Kings have really gotten they've been fortunate the last 2 nights that Colorado's goaltending was just mediocre on both nights. And if there was good goaltending, like legit straight
2
up
shutouts, yeah,
good goaltending, that's maybe 1 goal in 2 games that they would have scored. They just weren't very dangerous. None of the 4 goals that they scored in the 2 games were particularly special, were all that great. I don't think Johansson was bad, not by any stretch. I just think that both goals were a little iffy, and
Yeah.
I mean, you give up 2 iffy goals on like 18 shots, it's fine. Like it's not that big of a deal. He wasn't asked to make very many great saves, and that's totally okay.
Sean Walker's first goal came in. That was kind of a nice goal. I mean, his pickup that he had to do, I mean, he picked it up off of his skate straight to his stick and then just basically put it by Johansson, which some of that was...
He shoots it back into his body, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but he's still, I mean, he's still...
And he shoots it back in, and it's like, okay, like there's all this net that you could shoot into, and you shoot into the body, and it required him to move his glove out of the way. Had he just kept his gloves like solid as he moved across, it hits his arm, and we're not talking about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and Sherwood missed that read too. I mean, he was
totally
puck watching. Yeah.
Well,
the whole thing starts because McDonald, with nobody around,
throws it up the wall to nobody. Yeah.
Easily fires it up the wall and turns it over, and then doesn't do anything to help defensively. Like that's the kind of I thought tonight. I was watching it, and I thought, you know what? Colorado's second pairing tonight is their third pairing at the start of the playoffs. If I'm Jared Bednar. I'm not even messing with Nemeth and McDonald. If both Gerard and Byram are back healthy, there's absolutely no way I'm playing Nemeth and McDonald.
I'm with you.
Graves and Timmins just look solid, and that right there can be your third pairing. If it doesn't go well, it's not going to go well. Like you have to live and die with a weakness on your roster somewhere. And if your third pairing is Graves Timmins, I like the upside of it. Somebody needs to pull Ryan Graves aside and tell him that him shooting every single time he has the puck is not necessary.
Back it off a little bit.
He is, oh my God, allowed to make one pass, bro.
When you're out there with the top line, you're option 5 to shoot, bud.
I'm totally okay with him shooting in like most situations. It doesn't bother me. I don't feel like a shot on goal is going to be a bad play, but when he's like breaking in, and you're like, okay, man, like the goalie is now squared up to you. You could make one pass and make this a lot harder for the goalie. Or you can try and beat this guy straight up with a wrist shot.
It's the same as any situation where you have to keep him honest. We see the inverse of it with Sam Girard, where you can't pass it every time either.
Yeah, exactly. Like Graves is fine just shooting it, and it's like it's. I don't have a problem with the penchant for it. It's just a little too much. It's a little over the top at times.
Yep.
We're just like, you really don't see anything else on the ice right now? You really don't see a better option than this? Like if that's the case, then that's the case. But because it's not a thing that's hurting them very often. It's really the only time I think it hurts them is when he fires one into the guy standing 6 inches from him.
Yeah.
And then the puck is behind him, and then he's completely screwed. It's take a penalty or give up a breakaway. But that hasn't really been happening very much lately.
It hasn't.
He's been doing a lot better job of managing,
at least getting it into the zone. Yeah.
Well, and it was an issue we saw with Timmins early on as well.
Yep.
And we saw it again tonight. Timmins did it once. He took one shot, it hit the guy in front of him, and instead of Timmins going, oh God, panic button, and trying to get back, he just sprints right at the guy who blocks the shot.
Yep.
Puts his stick in his chest, and then slaps at the puck. And it was like, okay, he's figured this out. He's figured out what to do if this goes wrong.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a testament to the Avs defense that they can handle teams with pairings like Graves and Timmins as your second pair, McDonald and Nemeth as your third pair. And this isn't, look, the Kings don't exactly play a high octane brand of hockey, but you don't ask that defense to go out and give up 18 shots.
Yeah.
They're so consistent in finding ways to be so effective when it comes to puck possession. And yeah, we talked about the first goal. There's a bad turnover there. Obviously, they're far from perfect, but
yeah,
you can't ask for a whole lot more out of the defense, certainly.
I'm sorry, like 18 shots on goal.
Yep.
Like, unless all 18 are high quality chances here, which we have that information, we can look that up and say, okay, they had 14 scoring chances. I'm sorry. Yeah, 14 scoring chances and 5 high danger chances. So they were not under siege. They did a good job. The defense on the whole, they did a good job. Some mistakes, some things that they can clean up, but you also have to be realistic. But Cole Hamilton tweeted at me tonight, and it was a great point. That first goal against, if the Avs are healthy come playoff time, 5 of those guys aren't even in there, or 4 of those guys aren't even in the lineup.
Yep.
So it's like, and I don't even mean like they get fully healthy. Like they just get, like McKinnon comes back.
Yep.
Soderbergh slides back into the lineup. All right. Well, you cleaned up your fourth line problem. When we just talked about Gerard and Byram, those guys come. One of those guys is at least looks very likely to come back. And
Restream says we're on, but when I go to YouTube, we are not.
I see my gorgeous face in the monitor.
Pull us
That's
off
all I know.
Restream, Cale, if you can, and let's just restart this whole thing from the top.
would it be fun to move Makar to center just to see how